Today at Dice and Brushes, we are going to start going down the rabbit hole that is the lore behind many of the Warhammer armies, races, weapons, and everything in between. To start this trip, I will be talking about the Ordo Xenos. But before that, please hit that subscribe button to keep up with our videos. We are going to try to make these lore reading videos a weekly thing. Yes, it is going to be a reading from the Warhammer 40k wiki with some edits to make these videos easier to. With that said, it is time to learn about the Ordo Xenos is all about. The Ordo Xenos, colloquially sometimes referred to as the Alien Hunters, is one of the three primary subdivisions or Ordos Majores of the powerful and secretive organization known as the Inquisition alongside the Ordo Malleus and the Ordo Hereticus. Its purpose is to protect the Imperium of Man from all internal and external threats caused by intelligent alien species or their influence upon humans. The Ordo Xenos is served by its Chamber Militant, the Deathwatch Space Marines, who draw on veteran Astartes from chapters all across the Imperium to form the Deathwatch's kill teams and destroy the many foul Xenos threats to the survival of mankind. Armed with the best human and alien technology available, extremely knowledgeable about their foe, and filled with the xenophobic hatred for non-human species that drives so much of Imperial culture since the Horus Heresy, the Ordo Xenos can respond to any alien threat. Their tactics vary depending on the situation and the level of alien taint revealed. Where the threat is subtle, they will use guile and stealth, wielding their power as if it was a scalpel used to cut out a growing malignant cancer. When the alien menace is great, the Inquisitor of the Ordo Xenos can commandeer the aid of entire regiments of the Astra Militarum and the Deathwatch. The Ordo Xenos was created in the mid-32nd millennium, though in fact the Inquisition had been founded over 1,000 standard years earlier in the early 31st millennium at the express order of the Emperor after the great betrayal of the Horus Heresy had begun. The Inquisition was initially a relatively small and highly secretive organization, comprising only a small group of skilled Imperial agents drawn from all of the Imperial Adepta and nobility as well as select Loyalist Space Marines from both the Loyalist and Traitor Legions. They were tasked by the Emperor and chosen by Malcador the Sigillite at the end of the heresy with uncovering and destroying every threat to the Imperium of Man, from both without and within, but with a special emphasis on defeating the servants of chaos. The exact origins of the Ordo Xenos and the Deathwatch are uncertain, but its inception can be traced to the period known as the Time of Rebirth in 544-M32, and the arrival in Imperial space of the largest Orc Waak. Seen since the Ullanor Crusade during the closing years of the Great Crusade. Led by the mysterious warlord known only as the Beast, this greenskin invasion threatened the very throne world of Terra itself. During this conflict, remembered as the War of the Beast, it was the newly elected Lord Commander of the Imperium, Chapter Master and sole surviving member of the Imperial Fists named Courland who devised the concept of utilizing small elite Adeptus Astartes kill teams to eliminate vital strategic assets of the encroaching greenskins and eventually, the Beast itself. Though reluctant at first to acquiesce to the Lord Commander's plan to approve the creation of such a force since it would only strengthen the power of the Space Marines within the Imperium, desperate times called for desperate measures. Therefore, the High Lords of Terra consented to Courland's proposal. The original recruits for this newly created elite force were drawn from the survivors of the various chapters who took part in the initial invasion of the Beast's capital world of Ullanor Prime. These chapters suffered severe losses during the invasion. Thus standing in vigil over their fallen brethren, the seeds of the Deathwatch were sown. Lord Commander Courland eventually came to an agreement with the inquisitorial representative Wienand to assuage any doubts by the rest of the Senatorum Imperialis that this elite force, named the Deathwatch in honor of those brethren who had died in battle on Ullanor Prime, would fall under the purview of the Inquisition, but an Astartes would ultimately serve as its chapter master. It was in the wake of the War of the Beast that the Inquisition itself was formally divided into the first two of the Ordos Majores, the Ordo Malleus and the Ordo Xenos. The Deathwatch was chosen to be an integral part of the newborn Ordo Xenos and serve as its chamber militant the way the Grey Knights served as the chamber militant of the demon-hunting Ordo Malleus. The Ordo Xenos could also be said to have gradually evolved before its formal recognition in the wake of the War of the Beast from that group of inquisitors who were primarily interested in investigating and studying the alien species of the Milky Way galaxy and eliminating any threat to the Imperium that these Xenos represented. The inquisitors of the Ordo Xenos accept responsibility for protecting humanity from the predations of hostile aliens. To most of the Imperium, the alien is an abomination, a heathen who desires humanity's destruction and who must be slain for the good of mankind. Most inquisitors share this view and pursue the alien to the point of extinction if they can. Some aliens are a threat to the Imperium in a military sense, invading large swathes of imperial space, ransacking planets, and killing or enslaving the inhabitants. The green-skinned rampaging orcs and voracious tyrannids are chief among these large-scale threats. The Astra Militarum and Novus Imperialis are the main weapons deployed against these Xenos hordes, and the Imperium's war zones are constantly ablaze with battles against them. The Ordo Xenos is instrumental in leading the Imperium's military forces against major Xenos invasions, gathering intelligence and deploying troops. An inquisitor in this position makes decisions that can cost millions of lives, and he or she must be prepared to go further than even the most hard-hearted Astra Militarum general or Navy admiral in stemming the alien tide. Some of the Ordo Xenos' greatest inquisitors, such as the legendary inquisitor Lord Fidus Cryptman, have sacrificed entire worlds to deny them to alien forces. The tactics of the Ordo's inquisitors and their retinues vary depending on the situation and the level of alien taint revealed. Where the threat is subtle, they will use guile and stealth, wielding their power as if it was a scalpel used to cut out a growing malignant cancer. When the alien menace is great, the inquisitor can commandeer the aid of entire regiments of the Astra Militarum. As well as having the capacity to command the Imperium's military forces, the Ordo Xenos also have access to the Ordo's chamber militant, the Deathwatch Space Marines. While many Ordo Xenos inquisitors believe that all aliens must be killed, this is not true for all of them. Some believe that if an intelligent alien species does not wish the Imperium harm and does not move against Imperial interests, then cooperating with them is not out of the question. Some aliens possess technology that far surpasses the Imperium's own, such as the elegant digital weapons made by the ape-like Jokero, and trading for such technology may be to the Imperium's benefit. Furthermore, the Imperium shares common enemies with some Xenos species, and alliances between Imperial and alien forces are sometimes a necessity. Some Ordo Xenos inquisitors actively foster these alliances, believing that their superior knowledge of alien methods and mindsets negates the risks of collaborating with Xenos. These beliefs are considered radical among the Ordo Xenos, and their adherents can be shunned or even hunted down by their brother inquisitors. Nevertheless, the contact an Ordo Xenos inquisitor has with alien species can impart a belief that some of them can be used, not just destroyed, by the Imperium. Role. The primary remit of the Ordo Xenos is to defend the Imperium against the threat of the alien, a duty that goes far beyond merely confronting non-human creatures in open conflict alongside the Astra Militarum or Adeptus Astartes. In order to oppose the Xenos threat, the Ordo Xenos must undertake the dangerous task of investigating and studying intelligent alien species with a mind to destroying any that is deemed to be a threat to humanity. It must learn the nature of its inhuman foes, seek out their weaknesses, and learn how to counter their strengths. More than this, it must be ever watchful, not only against what lies in the void beyond, but against other, often more subtle and insidious threats that arise much closer to home. Such threats are often posed by renegade humans, some corrupt, others merely opportunistic. Such individuals are known to trade in alien technology, or seek to hide alien species within the Imperium's midst, often for the purposes of experimentation, profit, or bloody entertainment. Many of the Ordo Xenos operations are not focused outward, but inward on the Imperium itself, and with good cause. The Ordo's records are littered with bloody atrocities and vast losses of life that have resulted where the alien has taken hold of an Imperial world via stealth, infiltration, or slow taint, as well as countless incidents where the influence of alien technology, misunderstood artifacts, and xenolore have resulted in unintended disaster and tragic consequence. Within the Calixis sector, the job of the Ordo Xenos is a particularly complex and difficult one. This challenge is in no small part because the sector itself lies on the very edge of the Imperium. It is a borderland flanked for much of its perimeter by the uncharted void of space beyond the Emperor's light. No complete or even meaningful control can be kept over this vast, open border, and human and alien vessels can pass largely unobserved and unchallenged despite the best efforts of Battlefleet Calixis and the Imperial listening stations. In our next video, I will be talking about the Death Watch more in depth. With that being said, thank you for listening and don't forget to subscribe.